This is an ongoing series where we bring to you stories of immigrants from varied backgrounds, and we hope to shed some light on the challenges faced by the immigrants in America. And today we have with us Lovern Gordon. Welcome, Lovern.
Thank you for having me. I'm from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. It is the last southerly island in the Caribbean, just before you meet Venezuela. I migrated to the States in 1993, and where I've lived now in Boston, Massachusetts, for the duration since I migrated. And I am currently the president and founder of an organization called Love Life Now Foundation, which promotes year-round awareness around domestic violence. Carnivals and its rich culture and music and food, but it's also rampant with domestic violence. And so for 15 years and the time that I lived on the island, this was very much a part of, as I said, the fabric of my community and even my home, where our father brutally abused our mother, and I watched that happen. And for all intent and purposes, you know, from the outside looking in on the United States, I kept saying, once I get there, you know, or if I get there, that this would never be the case, right? And I would never let anybody treat me the way that, you know, my father treated our mother. And unfortunately, again, it's only till you get, you know, and you migrate and you come to the States and you understand that what you've been seeing from the outside looking in.
That's everywhere.
Besides the culture shock, you know, coming here and then myself falling into a relationship, even though I had seen what it looked like full on to be in an abusive relationship, I still missed the red flags of what it meant to be in one. This issue is so pervasive and it presents itself in so many different ways that you know, you're not, you know, if you're not educated on the red flags, if you're not educated on, you know, what it looks like to leave and leave safely, these are the things that you're going to run into no matter where you are. I started high school, the idea of sounding different, right, with my dialect, my Caribbean dialect. Was almost out the door. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be looked upon as different. I wanted to do my best to assimilate,
just to become one of the many.
So I had my grandparents, I had my aunt and her fiance on the second floor, I had cousins on the third floor. So I was full of my culture and what home looked like there. But as soon as I stepped outside, again, the pressure to assimilate was on. The way I dressed, the way I spoke. I quickly developed some sort of American accent, and you know, again, to try to fit in. And it wasn't until many years later that I was like, my gosh, I am who I am because of where I come from. Being on a student visa, you know, you have your peers that are starting internships by the time they're juniors and seniors, and you're not allowed to do that because
and that's a big drawback.
A huge drawback. Right?
I would feel the same.
And so, you know, you're bright and you're articulate and you have all the qualities, but you cannot go further because you're here on a student visa. So that was one. And then by the time I graduated, I then had to go back to Trinidad to get my permanent residency status solidified. And you couldn't do that if you were living in the country, and I didn't want to overstay my time. So I went back to Trinidad, and it took another 2 years for that to come to fruition. Once I got my permanent residency, I was able to come back to the States, but now I'm also 2 years behind my peers. So my peers had started college right after high school, and I was now 2 years later now starting that process. I still speak with an American accent, but my God, I will talk like a Trini when I'm ready, okay? And it's okay, right? And that's what, it's welcome, because many people, what I understood is that many people come here, and then even the folks that live here, they go to the places that we come from. And they want to enjoy our culture. They want to enjoy our food. So why can't I merge those two worlds and have it be
amazing thought?
Okay. My immigration story has pushed me to want to know more about others. And, you know, I wore this shirt today specifically because of that. You know, you want to be able to embrace others and what they bring to the table, more loving, less judging. I just came back from Tanzania, Zanzibar, Tanzania, in September, and, you know, looking at some of the ways that the sort of the culture norms, I can see a lot of what we do in the Caribbean is the same, right? And you know, some of what they do there is relative to what happens in the U.S. So it's just like all, you know, the more we are different, there are even more ways that we're
similar.